Welcome into Hoops Forum, a production of Radius Athletics and a Quick Timeout podcast. Tony Miller, and I'm joined once again this week by my co-host Randy Sherman. Big thanks to our sponsors over at 323 Sports. The folks with 323 Sports are providing uniforms, equipment, team gear, and more to schools and colleges across the country at incredibly low prices. I've used them on multiple occasions, and their customer service is second to none. As you prepare for the upcoming season, reach out to 323 Sports. Let them be your athletic provider. If you need to contact a sales rep, you can reach them directly at sales@323sports.com, or you can visit their website, 323sports.com. They'll be sure to do it right for your sports program. Today, those of you that are just listening, if you want to go over to YouTube and search Hoops Forum, you can find team shooting drills is what we're going to be focusing in on today. And this time of year, especially, I'm kind of thinking, Randy, more about team shooting drills, not in the context of team, but I'm running camps and you got a large group of people. And the thought process is always, how can I get as many shots up as possible? And, it's one thing when you got 16 people in the gym. When you got 40 people in the gym, you are trying to find even more ways to get as many shots as possible. And so some of these drills, maybe even today that we talk about, could be used in a camp context. But I know a couple that you used, and we'll kind of go back and forth here. But just your thoughts on team shooting drills, kind of maybe even when you use them in practice and how you went about using them, and anything else that you might think would be helpful.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts. I'd say I use them in practice as sort of like, I always said that we try to do as much of our practice in live game like as we can. There's some teaching days and some days where we're not trying to we're installing things or something like that. But for the most part, we try to get game like. But I would say this little phrase, I've probably said it on the show before, is like shooting is the only drill that gets its own, or the only skill that gets its own drill. Shooting is the only skill that gets its own drill. It's like that important. So I like to use them in what I would call our individual block. So we would do our warm up, a transition session as a whole, and then in an individual block we might do some team shooting. I think another purpose especially for the two I'm going to show today would be, I like to keep sort of a running tally and a running record using some of our favorite team shooting drills to sort of like chart our shooting performances in practice, both on a team and an individual level, just to sort of like make that thing that to me was vital to making our offense hum, that outside shooting ability. Just like this is at the forefront. We're going to track it. We're going to measure it. We're going to know who's shooting well, who's not. And we're trying to lift everyone up to where even our 10th player is at least a passable shooter. So we're not getting the sag treatment. We're not getting zoned. We're not. So that's a little bit about how the hows and whys I would use them. What about you?
I know we all value shooting, and I just wonder sometimes like what coaches think in regards to practice. Like we're just going to shoot for an hour, and we shoot for blocks of time, sometimes up to 20 minutes at the end of a practice. We'll do, it's a variety of different types of shots, kind of a thing that we go through, but we also break down parts of our offense and use parts, and we'll show a couple of those even today. But to get up shots where you get 2 shots, I was at a college practice this last week and saw them do actions within their offense, and they were getting 3 shots. So they were getting a lot of shots up in a short amount of time. And then probably the third way that we incorporate shooting, sometimes I like to come out right away and do it as almost a warm up. We have a couple full court shooting drills that we can adapt to half court if we want to, but just as a chance to get up and down the floor. We've even used a couple like you with time and score associated with them, and it's kind of if you maybe you're feeling things, this might be a good practice today, and guys have a good mood in the gym maybe beforehand. We'll start with one of those, and hopefully they reach an all-time high or a record or something like that.
Break the team record or something like that. Yeah.
and that can really like catapult the rest of your practice. So that's kind of a risk sometimes because sometimes they don't get it, and you kind of that's all right. Here we go, and you just keep
Yeah,
going
right.
anyways. That's
All
where you
right,
rely on
let's
it just being a warm up. Like, all right, now we're warmed up and ready to go.
yeah.
But if they do, exceed the goal, then that can kind of like create a buzz in the practice. So yeah, I think it's good. It's a good idea to think about different ways to use and not just do one way exclusively. And I think that's one way that you can kind of keep your practices not so predictable and keep them kind of fun and keep guys from getting bored with the same old routine.
Yeah, I think the killer application for shooting drills is if you can somehow wed the shooting drill to a concept that you are going to be teaching.
Hmm.
And at least the two I shared that I know I'm not yet seeing what you're bringing, but at least the two I shared do that, and that to me is like we're getting volumes of shots, but it's also giving repetitions to a couple of important concepts.
Hmm. Hmm. Let's go ahead and jump into them so that they can see some of those concepts. You
Okay.
and I have talked a lot about different concepts that you can use. And so some of these probably will be repeats from things that we've talked about just in
Hmm.
regards to the concepts themselves. So if you have been with the show for a while, you may have heard us talking about those concepts. And I think today, having these kinds of episodes from time to time can be good because you can see now how we actually drill
Yeah.
those and
Yeah.
incorporate those into our practices.
Okay. All right. So the first one's one of mine. Okay. So yeah, this is one that I like for, I would say the objective is obviously to get up volumes of shots, but another objective would be also to sort of like rep the concept of sort of relocation around penetration. So the drill starts, and you can. I've got it drawn with 6 players. It could be more than that. You could be doing this on both ends, like you got 6 on one end, 6 on the other, or more on. It really. You could also do it in partners, where like both the player ones are partners, both the player, and they're going to kind of travel through the drill together as partners. So you could like score it where the partners we have 2 guys who are going to win this drill, or we could be doing it as a whole. If like we got 6 guys on this end, 6 guys on the other, like it's like this team against that team. We'll talk more about that, but I want to just talk about the basics of the drill. So the ball can start. We want all the balls on one side and players without balls on the other. So here it's assuming that the balls are with the players on the left, and the players without basketballs are on the right, and the coach is in the middle, and the player at the front of the line is going to pass it to coach in the middle. Now the coach may reverse it, or he may go back to the player who just passed it. I like to sort of randomize that. But if you just want to just do the drill as your first day of doing it, you could just reverse it every time. So it goes from left, I catch it, and I reverse it to the right, and then the player that I reverse to is going to immediately put it on the floor and drive middle. So we're driving at the nail, and we're trying to get a paint touch so you can work on your starts, your footwork on the catch, and getting into a drive. And then what we want is the player who passed it to coach reverse it over here, is the player is going to relocate for the inside out shot. And so like what you see in the bottom corner would be the player pass it to coach. The coach could pass it either way, but here he passes it back to where he got it from, or he or she got it from. But you see the same nail drive. So it's kind of good to sort of, as the coach, kind of you're driving the drill, and you can kind of mix it up to where we're getting right hand drives, we're getting left hand drives, we're getting threes on both sides of the court, and we're working on that fading to the corner or kind of moving in concert with the drive for the inside out three.
I think even within our offense, I just came from a workout with a young man where we worked on a drill very similar to this, and something that stuck out that we had to address was the start and the stops that he had, were the
Mm-hmm.
starts and the stops that he had. So not only are you working on the shooting, you're working on the player movement, in this case, the push that goes along as the ball
Yes.
is being driven at it,
Yes.
and you're working on having clean starts and stops. And So I hear a lot of coaches, footwork is important to us. And I always wonder, okay, so how do you rep that? And what are you teaching? And what drills are you using? And this is one of those where you're checking off multiple boxes
Hmm.
with one very simple shooting drill.
And it's a volume shooting drill, unopposed, so our
Mhm.
technique should be flawless.
Yep.
Like we're working on if anytime we've got an unopposed drill, there's really no, I don't like the word excuse, but there's no reason for us not to have, we've got our footwork on the catch right. We've got accuracy in our passes. Like, for example, in this drill, what I like to do is, like, say either of the two frames, it doesn't matter, but like, say we're driving and we pass to the shooter. I like the players waiting in line to be what we call umpires. So, like, when you see that pass, if I'm waiting in line, the two players that have the active rep, everyone that's waiting in the short lines, 2 to 4 spots, we're not 2 to 3 spots, we're not in line very long. I want them to, like, just like an umpire, call a ball or strike and say it out loud, ball or strike, depending on, to grade the quality of that pass to the shooter. And what you'll start to see is, if we're saying ball, the shot's probably going to be a miss.
Yep.
But when it's strike made, that you see that pattern start to emerge. So we start to get this idea of the accuracy of the pass leading to a better shot. And we're getting the players to sort of, like, who aren't in the drill to be thinking about making a good pass right here as well.
Yeah, those are great teaching points.
Yeah.
All right.
So a way to load the drill, I always like to show, like, how could we load the drill, make it a little bit more complex, involve a little bit of decision making. Would be put one defender out there on the midline. So drill starts the same. Pass it to coach in the middle. The coach may go back to the passer or go on ahead and reverse it. I show in the top side we've reversed it, and we've got that could be even a coach or somebody out there just sort of giving, like, a guided read. If I'm driving middle and that coach just sort of puts their hands up and protects the rim there at the charge circle, then I know that's a kick out read. That's like a help defender. I'm gonna throw to the guy fading to the corner. If I'm driving it and that coach or whomever that's in there showing that defender sort of chases that fade defender and sticks with him, I'll just go into a finish. So now we've loaded the drill and added, like, a decision to it.
I like that.
And then another load we can add to it would be, one, passes to coach, coach reverses it. We middle drive and kick, but that player doesn't shoot it. We work on a concept that I like in offense called dribble up, throw back. So, like, what we see is we've driven nail, we've kicked it to the player fading to the corner, but in the first phase of the drill, that's been a shot. Here, they're not going to shoot it, they're going to dribble up, and the player who passed, who drove and kicked, is going to exit, and we're going to dribble up and throw back, and they're going to be the shooter. So it's like I would call this a Steph cut, because you see this all the time. He'll penetrate and then just run out, and they go dribble up, throw back to him, and it's a good concept. Um, and then I show, lastly, our friends over at Dr. Dish, how we can use that in the drill if we want to cut down on chase and misses and rebound and speed it up to get more shots. We can use, have the Dr. Dish pin to where it's just pointing straight to one of the lines. It's not moving. It's just going to stay stationary, and it's just feeding the pass out to player one, who reverses it to coach, who may take it back to the same side or reverse it. And I'll show here reversing it, and then it's the same drill. They're going to drive and kick, and then it's now all the shots are going into the net of the Dr. Dish, and instead of all over the gym. So yeah, it's a good Dr. Dish shooting machine drill too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, again, the
If you got
workout
time to set it up and all that.
well, today I had the workout and came early, set the dish up, and it was just me and the other kid. So it was saved us a ton of time going around chasing loose balls all over the place.
Yeah.
And so yeah, great way to incorporate that into the drill itself. I like that. That's great. We use a couple that are similar to this, but not exactly the same. So I may have to steal a few of these things.
Yeah, get that dribble up, throw back concept in there. It's really
I like that one.
kind of a nice advancement of the drill.
Yeah, and as soon as you mentioned Steph, it came to my mind. I can see it in my head. He does
Yeah.
use that a
Yeah,
lot,
run
a
out.
whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, so there it is with the Dr. Dish, and then just some scoring ideas. We like an even number of players. We play for a predetermined amount of time. Like, okay, we're gonna do this for 5 minutes. The six on this end competing on this end. After 5 minutes, we made 60. I made 57. There's a winner. There's a loser. Something like that. You can do it in partners where you're always going to be with the same guy if you've got an even number of players, and like each partner is keeping track of their each partnership, each duo, if you will, and there's a winning duo out of, say, 6 duos or something like that. So there's different ways you can score it, or just let the Dr. Dish keep track of it. If they'll track them
Yeah, that's great.
percentage. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so that was one probably I'm guessing that you usually use like during in the middle of a practice to incorporate the concepts or
Yeah.
review the concepts that you're trying to teach your offense.
Yep.
This one is not that. We call this threes and frees. I got this from an older coach that I've worked with for a few years.
Okay.
It is threes and freeze, not freeze as in cold, but freeze as in free throws here.
Okay.
So on
Okay.
the left hand side, if you're watching this, we split the team in half
Hmm.
typically, and we'll have 6 players shooting on one end and then 6 players shooting on the other. And there are 3 shooters and
Okay.
3 rebounders.
Okay.
And we will dictate or determine at the beginning, let's say it's 12 and 8. So the first number 12 is how many that group needs to shoot from 3 and make. And once they make those 12, then they run to the free throw line and they have to make 8 free throws.
Okay.
What I don't have diagrammed on this is once they make their 12 and 8, then 1, 2, and 3 swap with 4, 5, and 6
Gotcha.
and repeat it again. So it's 12 made threes and 8 made free throws. You can get creative on this. If you have more time, you can go, I don't know, 20 and 10, or you can make up whatever number you want to make up. We will even sometimes on the free throws say 12 and 5, and the 5 have to be in a row. So they have
Oh,
to
okay.
make 5 free throws in a row.
Question.
And yeah, go ahead.
Does the when we get to the free throw part, I just shoot one and then the guy behind me shoots one, and
Yes.
okay, okay.
You can't have the same guy shooting free throws one after another. So if number 1 shoots, then number 2 shoots, the number 3, and they just keep
And we're
cycling
trying to
through
get,
again.
if we're going 12 and 8, we're getting 8 free throws.
8 free throws made. Yes,
Okay.
8. So 12 makes and then 8 makes. And you can do this if you have, let's say you have a day where people are sick and there's not many people. We may do it everybody on one end and go against a time. We want to get how
Hmm.
fast can we do this, or can we
Yeah.
get it in so many minutes? Or typically what we do is what I described at the beginning. We switch up the 2 ends, and now you have competitive this group versus this group. So your blue team versus your white team,
And
and
whoever
who can
gets
cycle
12 and
through.
8. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So each group, the first group has to get 12 and 8, 1, 2, and 3.
Hmm.
And then 4, 5, and 6 have to get 12 and 8 as well. So
Gotcha.
just another, like, it's just volume shooting. And this is
Hmm.
one typically we'll use at the end of a practice. This is to send them off their way. You have a winner, you have a loser. The winners get after the losers.
A little
Somebody's
friendly
kind of
competition,
frustrated a little bit, friendly
some trash
competition.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah. So the guys really like this. It's kind of a fun way to end your practice.
12 and 8.
12,
Gotcha. I
12
like
and
it.
8, any number you want to, 15 and
Yeah.
10 or whatever you want to. So, yeah, threes and
So
frees.
So basically, I've got another question, because I like, if I'm asking a bunch of questions, usually because I like it.
Sure,
I
sure.
want to learn and share it or something. Like, so when we're shooting the threes, like, is 4 one's rebounder, 5 is twos, or it can just be like
You
just get
can
them
if
balls.
you
Yeah.
can if you want to, but we typically just get balls.
Yeah.
And I have 1, 2, and 3 shooting from those spots. You
Could
can
be.
put the constraint on or the requirement. You can't shoot the same shot from each spot if you
You
wanted
got
to
to
do
move
that.
a little bit lower, a little bit
S
higher, or something
You
like
can
that. Yeah.
require them every shot to everybody moves clockwise or counterclockwise or whatever. So
Gotcha.
you can mix it up. It can look like a different shooting drill with basically the same concept and the same fundamental rules.
Gotcha.
Yeah, threes
Cool.
and frees. Threes and
I
frees,
like it.
kind of a fun drill. All right, next one here, 4-line closeout reads.
Yeah, so here what I like, and this was a drill our players loved it, that we did quite often. We tried to make it competitive. You see 6 players on a side here. Um, like if we had 12 players, we would divide up, and we're competing and trying to, and I'll go into how we scored it. Um, but we're also working on another concept that we want to be good at, and that's like shooting against someone closing out toward us. And um, that's that's a little more game like than I'm just shooting and getting a rebound or passing it back to me, and I'm just shooting. There's probably going to be someone running at you in a game. They may be way late because we really collapsed and kicked it, and by doing what we learned in the first drill or whatever. But like, they may be way late, but there's probably somebody on their way with a hand up.
Mhm.
So what we're trying to do is simulate that. So the drill starts with a four. There's four spots in the typical 4-out spots, the corners and the slots. Player one starts with the ball. We want them underneath the hoop, like really get in there, like inside the charge circle underneath the hoop, and they're going to pass out to player. We'll start it passing to the corner, like you see in frame one there. And after they pass, they're gonna just follow that pass and try to get a hand up. Now you can really nitpick about closeout technique, and we're trying to squeak our feet and chop and all that. You can tell everyone close out short, everyone close out medium, everyone close out long. If we close out long, we're working on like maybe taking that like one dribble sidestep three. Um, it You can vary it. Usually, when I first introduced it, it was just a regular kind of short closeout, run at them with a hand up, because that's the read in the game. Like if they close me out short and I'm shooting. So the way it works is one passes out to two, executes whatever closeout, and we're going to shoot the three. The shooter goes and gets their own rebound, or hopefully they get it out of the net, and they're then going to throw it to the next spot where you see in frame two, player two who shot has got their rebound. They're going to throw out the three and then close them out. Three's going to shoot. They're going to get their own rebound. So what we want is we want to eventually, you may not get this right away if someone's going to get smacked in the face with the ball, but like what we want to get is where we can get two balls going through the drill, where it's not just one ball. If we get two balls, so the drill pops a little quicker.
Mhm.
So what our rule was, once we got to that, and I felt like no one was going to get smashed in the face with the ball, thinking, okay, where is it my turn yet? Like once we got that going with two, our rule was after the second shooter, that'd be if we start in the corner, it would be after player three in the right slot, after their shot, then player six would come in and start and we got two balls going. And then so it's basically inside out shooting. What we would do would be different things, different ways of scoring it. We could just go for a time like this D6 against D6. We're going to do this for 5 minutes and maybe make 50 something threes to your 40 something threes in this group one. And in that case, I would try to like maybe spend some time in my practice planning, like getting in good balance. Don't put all your 3-point shooters on one team or let them pick, or that's what, like we would, try to get maybe a good two balanced teams and compete. Or you can do it like just for a set number of maids, like your drill, like, okay, we're going to go to 20 maids or something like that. And first one to 20 maids wins, something like that. You can vary the closeouts. Like I said, you really throw it and just really close out on them hard and work on that sidestep, one dribble three. You can turn it into a driving drill where we pass it, we run them off the line, and we finish it at the rim. Um, you know, I like it for a 3-point shooting, and since that's what we're talking about today, that would probably be the more focus that I would put on.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you can make it finishing. May start that as like a warm up, so
Yeah,
finishing to start with, and then move into a shooting drill and make it into a shooting drill.
and
So,
you can coach a little closeout technique if you
yep.
want. And also, too, a real good advancement of it would be like tell the player who's the passer who's passing and then following that pass into a closeout, like, okay, let's really advance this and make it truly read based. Like, close them out however you want. Sometimes give them that short, like Rondo closeout. Sometimes, give them that really run at them hard and make them take that one dribble pull up three or sidestep three or drive it or whatever. But like, you can sort of like now teach that concept of when I get that inside out pass, I may not have enough time to squeeze off my shot. I might have to put it on the ground. This was a great drill too for using a shot fake and the footwork off of a shot fake. Nothing referees love calling more than like a shot fake and drive, and they'll love to call that a foul. So like you can teach that. So like they throw at me, I shot faked them, and I want to go into a drive. I want to lift. I call it a lift fake instead of a shot fake because we try to keep our feet set and just lift the ball instead of like these steps that tend to cause us cause travel. So you can teach how to make a shot fake and drive without traveling through this drill as well.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good drill. So 4-line closeout reads.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right, last one that I have.
Oh
We
yeah, I
talked
like release.
about we talked about I think it was a whole episode. I think if you're looking for it, I think the title of it is literally Headlights and Taillights.
Yeah.
And we talked for about 30 minutes, I think it was, on the concepts of headlights and taillights. I won't explain it all. There's been some other coaches that they'll talk specifically about where you're at on the floor as a
Hmm.
spot on the floor being a kickback spot or a skip back spot. I don't have necessarily the headlights in this. This is more
Yeah,
of
more of tail lights. Yeah.
more like taillights and maybe your rear view mirror off to the right of your blind spot, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that concept yet, but for the 4-out teams, the dribble drive teams,
Hmm.
part of
Hmm.
this is familiar already. I'm sure it's in others as well. But you have that slot to slot pass that then creates the slice cut across and the triple gap that the now player 4 can drive. So on the left hand side, you see 4 driving the space there, comes to a stride stop in the paint, and player 3 is sprinting behind the play to get in the taillights of the
Hmm.
driver. That's player 4.
Hmm.
Turn around, kick, and shot. If you haven't used this concept before, you would be shocked at how many shots this generates within your offense.
Oh yeah.
Usually just that whoever's guarding X3, it's something about the drive and kind of getting lost in watching that when that sprint happens from behind, that's a long closeout. Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
kind of
There's head
watching.
turning. Yeah.
Yeah, heads turning, and so wide open shot there. And on the right hand side, after one moves to the corner off the slice, just lifting up to that 45. I think most all of us are teaching you get into either a Barkley or even off of a post up, and there's kind of the automatic lift to the 45.
Hmm.
And same thing. A lot of times, like X1 will be sunk down in the paint with at least a foot in the paint, and you skip it over the top for a shot. I've also done throw it back in the kickback spot, and then one more to
Yeah.
the skip back, the
Yeah.
45
So
spot there.
we go drive, kick, swing. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do the skip back, excuse me, the kickback shooting for 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go to the skip back shooting for 5 or 10 minutes. And this is one of those, again, just repping a concept, and then getting into, you could then go into 4-on-4 play or something like that, and you'll see immediate uh, execution of the concept that you just used. Whereas if you just talk about it and do it, good luck. It's probably not going to show up very
Hmm.
much. But doing something like this, getting shots up while you're repping the concept, kind of serves the multi-purpose there, and has been really beneficial for our offense as well as for our shooting.
Yeah. And you can again, it's unopposed, so you can really nitpick about
Yep.
technique.
Yep. Yep.
The your driver there who's going to make that drive and they come to that stop, we can insist that they stop, same hand, same foot,
Mhm.
pivot on the back foot. We're removing the defensive interference, therefore we can turn the dial up on the attention of technical matters. We can work on the player cutting into the taillights. If you're a hop guy, they hop into that catch and shoot it, or they 1-2 it if you're a 1-2 guy or whatever. Um, yeah, I like it, and it's fitting with the theme is it's a concept that you're using in your offense to
Mhm.
create that gap space, drive into it. That's part of your offense, and you turn that into a shooting drill.
Yeah.
To me, that's like such a fundamental skill in coaching is to be able to take the concepts that are inherent in your offense and turn them into drillable
Yeah.
vignettes like this. That's like to me the ability to do that is to coaching as the ability to use a hammer is to carpentry.
For sure.
Yeah.
A whole episode to that, coaching superpowers, so you can go
Yes.
back
Yeah.
and look
Yeah.
that up. We need to
Yeah.
start linking these, in
Yeah.
these
Drill creation.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 shooting drills, team shooting drills that you can use with your team. Hopefully, that gave you some ideas, and if you have some shooting drills maybe that you'd like to share, Randy and I both love to kind of those are rather than plays. We're not always into just filling our boxes with plays, but I feel like you can never have enough team shooting drills. Obviously, some are better than others, but having team shooting drills, especially as the season kind of drags on and keeping things fresh and
Yeah.
new ideas, I think shooting drills just because of the amount of attention that we give to it, and you can never have enough. I feel like have enough shooting drills to get your team prepared. So
And I want them to be competitive too. And
yeah,
competitive could be we're trying to, this is the team high we've ever gotten in inside out shooting or something like that. Or a competitive could be this side against that side, these 6 players against these 6 players. Competitive could be, um, you know, this is the fastest we ever got to 50 shot 50 maids or something like that. Like I like to make them competitive, and that just gives them the juice to really concentrate and focus and not go through the motions.
especially if you're doing large chunks of time. I
Hmm.
mentioned the 20 minutes. You can't do the same thing for 20 minutes. You're gonna have a hard time even competing for 20 minutes straight. Like there needs to be some
Hmm.
variation to that. So yeah, some good points there. All right, we've made a point, Randy. Here we are continuing to mention and remind coaches of our clinic coming up in September,
Yeah.
September 8th and 9th here in Greenville, South Carolina. Randy's coming over from the far west, or at least Texas, coming over to speak at that. I'm super pumped about that. And incredible lineup all the way around. Some really great teachers. So click the link down in the description. We'll have that. Also, watch out on our social media channels. That will be in September, and hopefully here soon, within the next week or two, I'm going to be announcing topics, and I'm sure it'll be things that coaches will be excited about. You giving any
Gotta
more
make it.
thought to that?
I got to make a decision.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've got a couple ideas, but
Okay. Good. Good.
I'm
Yeah.
getting
Some
closer.
new things and some variations, some familiar faces, but going to have familiar faces not doing the same things that they've done before. So I'm really excited about hearing from each of them. Really appreciate everyone who's tuned into the live show this week. If you missed any part of it, or if you're just listening and you need to go watch to see some of these diagrams of these team shooting drills, head on over to YouTube, search Hoops Forum or Radius Athletics, and you'll find the full video version of the show. Excuse me. For those of you that are watching, search it more inclined to audio. You can search on any podcast platform, a quick timeout to find the audio version of the show. For Randy Sherman, I'm Tony Miller. We'll talk to you again next time on Hoops Forum.